Hello, my name is Mike Morton with Keysight Technologies. Today I'd like to show you a video on how to transport transportable licenses. This is the first video in a two-video series, so this is part one. Both videos dealing with the various methods for being able to transport a license. To understand which products offer a transportable license, first of all, you would have to know what products offer a transportable license. For example, the 89601B vector signal analyzer and the 89620B wireless link analyzer software. If it is any of those two products that are 601B, they are natively transportable licenses, with the only exception is if you purchased 89601BN, N meaning network or floating license, then this video would not pertain to you. But if you have the 601B, a node locked license, it does pertain. Other products dealing with that have transportable licenses, and you may have had to select the option for transportable, are the InfiniView oscilloscope analysis software, and then other measurement software like Signal Studios. Some of our X-Series spectrum analyzers have transportable options, Waveform Creator, and some of our digital communication analyzer scope apps. So here I'm going to show you a quick pictorial of how transporting a license using the license manager actually works. We first have to understand that you have a computer or an instrument with a computer in it that has a transportable license that's physically living on it. And then there's going to be, and we're going to call that the source system. And then you're going to have a computer or an instrument with a computer in it that you want to move the license from this one over to this one. We'll call that the target system. If you have LAN access to both of those, you can use a third computer and run a tool downloadable from our website called Keysight License Manager. And that is a PC software that connects to both the source and the target in such a way that it will handle the transporting for you. Now, if that computer also has access to the internet, we're really in good shape, because then what happens is the license manager during the transport process will go out to the internet and talk to our Keysight Transport License web service, which will then allow you to do what we call the drag and drop method. Now, it is also useful to know that this doesn't have to be a third machine. This license manager, if your source system is an instrument running Windows, this license manager could run right on the instrument, or it even could run on the target system. And if wherever license manager lives has access to the internet, then you'd be able to use this drag and drop method. Alternatively, we also have ways to transport these licenses in cases where you may not have internet access in your lab. The instruments do not have internet, or even may not even have LAN access to these instruments. And so when you don't have internet access, we call that the offline method. Part 2 of my video series will deal with how to transport a license from source to target using the offline method. And then as a side note to that, there's what we call banking. And that means if you don't have a target system identified, but you want to remove that license from the source system and then store it somewhere, we call that banking. We have ability to do that also. So this would be called the offline method or the banking method. In summary, the drag and drop method is for connected environments, and that's our primary way we like to do the transports, because it is simply as easy as drag and drop, in which you'll see here shortly. But it does require that both the source and the target systems to be on the same network, and requires that the machine that actually runs the license manager to have internet access. If any of that cannot occur, then it either becomes an offline method for the transport, or even banking. Offline means that access to the internet is limited, and then either the current or destination host is not on the same network. And as a side note to that, you can also bank it, which you store it in your Keysight Software Manager account in your profile for future use. So you can bank it there, kind of like your savings account for it. And when you get an analyzer in or a PC in that you now want to finish the transport to, you can basically remove it from the Keysight Software Manager and install it on at that time. I've gone ahead and switched to my desktop, and I will demonstrate doing the drag and drop method of licenses that are on this PC. They happen to be VSA licenses, and I'm going to transport them to my PXA signal analyzer, which I have remoted into here so you can see it running. I'm going to leave this window up so you can kind of see what happens during the transport. So the first step you'll need to do is open up Keysight License Manager. So go to Start, All Programs, Keysight License Manager, and select Keysight License Manager. Now keep in mind, if you have an older version of License Manager, it might be called Agilent License Manager. If it is, just choose that. So opening up Keysight License Manager, when it opens up, it will automatically connect to the local host, which is the machine it's running on, and display the licenses available. So I have here an 89601B 200 license, 300 license AYA, and a BHF. These are transportable because they show up under the type field as transportable. So in order to do the drag and drop method, I will first need to connect to this target. The spectrum analyzer is the target. Keep in mind my local host is the source. So I'm connected to the source, I just need to connect to the target. So I will say connect and enter in my address to it, which I'm going to use the host ID. And say OK, and voila, I'm now connected to my PXA, this analyzer, and showing its licenses that are there. Okay. To do the transport, you will select with the mouse key held down, drag it to where you want to put it. And it won't release in here, underneath these directory structures. It only will release to to what highlights, which is my N9030. So I'm just going to release my mouse, and a pop-up will pull up. You have selected the following product and feature license to be transported. The 89600-200. Are you sure you want to transport these licenses? I'll say yes. And the software does several things. First of all, you'll notice in my window down here that it removed the license from my source PC. And then over here on the PXA, it now says successful license installation. So now I see it down under the tree view here as 200, and I can literally do that for each one. So I'll click the 300, drag it, say yes. It removes from the source, and we should see it pop up on the PXA on this window. Okay, and now it did the link hardware. And I'll do it again for AYA. Remove from the source. And now it shows up on the target. Last license, do it one more time, drag and drop. Yes. It's deleting it from the source. I'll just close that one there so we can tell when it actually changes. And now it shows up on the target as successful license installation. Okay, so all four of these licenses now reside on the PXA. If I exit the tool and restart it, where I'm not connected to the analyzer anymore, you'll notice on the local host there are now no licenses on my PC. This could also work in reverse, dragging them up from the PXA back to the local host using this method. For more information on transporting licenses, you can go to your Keysight License Manager online help. You'd open up the topic License Management and then the Transporting Licenses topic. If you need the License Manager utility itself, the actual download for it, you can download it for free at www.keysight.com/find/License Manager. And finally, there is information in your product documentation. If you're running VSA software like I was, you can that means in its online help system, there's information on transporting there. If it's Signal Studio, it's in the Signal Studio online help, etc. Thanks for watching.